Hello and welcome back to Solomon's Cave, and the 6th video on Hebrew nouns, specifically the function of construct nouns. In the previous video I told you that a noun can be in two states, namely a noun can be in the absolute state, which is the dictionary form, or it can be in the construct state. In this video we'll explore the function of construct nouns, as in why would you take a perfectly normal noun in the absolute and turn it into a construct. Let's start with the following observations. When you read Hebrew, it is not at all uncommon to find two nouns in a row. And now that we know that any noun can be either construct or absolute, we have 4 different options. 1. A construct noun followed by an absolute noun. 2. A construct noun followed by another construct noun. 3. An absolute noun followed by another absolute noun. And 4. An absolute noun followed by a construct noun. Out of these 4 options, the fourth one doesn't occur. Or if it does, it's merely incidental, and it doesn't have any grammatical importance. So you can basically ignore it. The first option will be the topic of this video, when a construct noun precedes an absolute noun. And also option 2 will be discussed briefly near the end of this video, as it is essentially a subset of the first option. The third option, namely having two absolute nouns following each other, is very important to understand as well, and it will be the topic of the next video. But in this video we'll dive into options 1 and 2. So the first thing you need to know, and you already know this, is that a noun can be either absolute or construct, but there is a second layer that I have to introduce here. And that is that besides being absolute or construct, a noun can also be either definite or indefinite. To put it in a schedule, every noun you will ever find in Hebrew will be either absolute and definite, absolute and indefinite, construct and definite, or construct and indefinite. There are 3 ways in which an absolute noun can become definite. 1. It is a proper noun or a name. This can be the name of a person, a people group, a country, or a city, or whatever. Proper nouns are always definite and are also always absolute. 2. The noun has a definite article. If a noun has the definite article, it is not only definite, but it is also absolute, because construct nouns cannot take a definite article. 3. The noun has a possessive suffix. More on possessive suffixes in a future video, but suffice to say for now that if a noun has a possessive suffix, it is both definite and absolute. And then there is one way in which a construct noun can become definite, and that is that the noun is connected with an absolute noun that is definite because of 1, 2, or 3. Nouns that do not fall under the categories 1, 2, 3, or 4 are indefinite. Now let's look at some examples. In the last video I already gave one example, namely Bnei Yisrael, meaning sons of Israel or Israelites. The first word is a noun in the construct state, and the second word is a proper noun, which by definition, as we saw, is both absolute and definite. And since it is definite, the first word is by extension also definite. So in English you would translate often as the sons of Israel or the Israelites. Here's another example that is a little more explicit. Even HaMelech. The first word, Even, is in the construct state again, and it means stone. The second word, HaMelech, means the king. It has the definite article, and so the word is absolute and definite. And so we have stone of the king. But since the definiteness of the second word is projected onto the first one, we get the stone of the king, or the king's stone. But what if the second word is not definite? So instead of Even HaMelech, the stone of the king, we have Even Melech. Then both are indefinite. So instead of the stone of the king, it is a stone of a king. Well, look at these 2 parallel examples. Batei Ha'ir, the houses of the city, and Batei Ir, houses of a city. Now there are some exceptions to this pattern that are based on logic more than on grammar rules. Here's an example. Toeva Adonai. The second word is the name of God, so let's say the Lord. and the first word is in the construct and it means abomination. Now you might think that this should be translated as the abomination of the Lord, because the Lord is a proper noun. But since many different things are called abominations of the Lord, it should probably be understood as an abomination of the Lord. Another note about these constructions, by the way, has to do with word order. Because word order in Hebrew may be free in some aspects, more free than English. Like where in the sentence you place a verb and whatnot. But with these constructions, the word order is very strict. So you will always write Evan HaMelech, and it is always the stone of the king. You never write HaMelech Evan, and you never translate Evan HaMelech as the king of the stone. So in what kinds of circumstances are these constructions used? Now here I will only mention a few types of examples. Other examples and other types of uses will be mentioned in future videos. The first type of usage is when it can show possession. For example, Heichal Adonai, the temple of the Lord, the temple that belongs to or is the possession of the Lord. Or Cheref Goliath, the sword of Goliath. Second, it can show family relationships, like Beton Zelofchad, the daughters of Zelophehad, or Ben Melech, a son of a king, or a king's son. Third, it can be a definition or perhaps a full name, often with geographical features like rivers, seas, mountains, countries, deserts, etc. For example, Eretz Mitzrayim, the land of Egypt, or Yam Suf, the sea of reeds. At this point you might have another question. Can you have situations where two construct nouns follow each other? Yes, you can have two or more construct nouns follow each other. But no matter how many construct nouns you add to the construction, the final word should always be an absolute noun. For example, Evan Achi HaMelech, the servant of the brother of the king. And here's the longest example I've ever seen. It's from Isaiah 21 verse 17. The rest of the number of the bowmen of the warriors of the sons of Kedar. Whoa. Okay, so and then what about those two absolute nouns following each other? Yes, that is also possible, and it is called a noun clause, or sometimes a non-verbal clause, which is the topic of the next video. These two videos together, this one and the next one, can be seen as a sort of blueprint of two key grammatical principles. Understanding these grammatical principles well, as in understanding what it means if a construct noun precedes an absolute noun, and what it means if an absolute noun precedes another absolute noun, is of vital importance for understanding Hebrew grammar. Once you have a handle on these two basic principles, you are ready to add some bells and whistles. You can start adding adjectives, personal pronouns, possessive suffixes, and demonstrative pronouns. Each of those will get a video of its own, but they will assume that you already grasp these two concepts well. So my recommendation is that you bookmark this video and the next video for easy reference and review as you delve into these topics.